Hey everybody, what goes on? Welcome to Disavowed Action Figures, and this is my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2020. As always, these are just my personal opinions that I am sharing, and would appreciate hearing your thoughts as well. Please let me know in the comments down below what your opinions are on Marvel Legends in 2020, your best and worst figures, and what figures you are most looking forward to in 2021. In order for a figure to make my top 10, I have to have actually purchased it. I used a reasonable level of restraint this year, only purchasing about 40 new 2020 Marvel Legends. I tried to focus on specific areas of the Marvel Universe. For example, I set out the Fox X-Men movie figures, although I may look to land some later on in 2021 clearance. Basically, figures left on the store pegs are not going to be counted in my top 10. Additionally, I'm not including outright Build-A-Figures in my general top 10 list, as I'll reserve those later for either their own list or my overall top 10 action figure list of 2020. Beyond that, I'm basing my personal thoughts on the figure's attributes, personal fun factor, and even the experiences I had tracking them down this year on the hunt. Now that we have that out of the way, on to my honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1 goes to Doctor Doom from the Super Skrull Wave and Retro release. So, some collectors included this in their 2019 countdowns, others in 2020. I picked up the entire wave in January, so he technically was a 2020 pickup for me. Further adding to this would be the release of the Doctor Doom retro carded figure, which I just managed to get my hands on as a Christmas gift. Both figures were fantastic releases. Yes, I said fantastic on purpose. This was just a much wanted and demanded figure, and I still remember watching the panel live at SDCC 2019 on YouTube as the room erupted with applause and cheers. I really liked the multiple heads that came with the original release that allowed for a more current and also throwback look. The inclusion of the holes under the cape on the back for the jetpack accessories to be clipped in that were later released with other figures in the line was a nice touch. The coloring looks appropriate and the armor sculpt is very well done. I feel that the belt is really accented well over the green skirt. Likewise, the retro carded featuring animation similar to the Fantastic Four 1990s cartoon hit all the right nostalgia buttons for me, and the inclusion of the extra books, power effects, and even some soft goods make it worth picking up. Now we just need to see that white Future Foundation Secret Wars God Doom variant, and I can die happy. Here's to getting that announced soon for 2021. Honorable mention number 1, Doctor Doom. Coming in at honorable mention number 2 is the Venom Deluxe Release Fan Channel exclusive. As I stated in the intro, I'm not including outright Build-A-Figures in this list, but with this receiving a new paint job from the Monster Venom Bath, I wanted to at least acknowledge it. This is a huge figure that fits really well on various shelves of a collection. The black and white paint job looks menacing. Also, as I said, the experience purchasing figures factors into my rankings, and this was a special figure because I bought it the day of one of my best friend's weddings at a Books-A-Million, and then I used her bathroom to change into my suit to go to the service. So, it has that personal memory connected with it that makes me even more fond of it. If you have the Monster Venom Bath, you may want to pass on this, but if you want a more true-to-life version of Venom on your shelf, you should probably pick it up. Honorable mention number 2, Monster Venom. Coming in as my number 3 honorable mention is the Hellfire Goon, Hasbro Pulse exclusive. This figure lands itself on honorable mention as opposed to being in the top 10, simply because it's only the Bucky cap body. However, this was another much wanted figure in everyone's collections, and it's a great example of Hasbro giving the fans a win with something that they want. I really like how Hasbro made the various army builders available on Hasbro Pulse over the past 2 years, and especially at that $15 price tag, which really gives army builder collectors a chance to go crazy if they want to. Throw in the fact that if you coughed up the money to purchase the SDCC Hellfire Club box set, or as they called it in X-Men the Animated Series, the Inner Circle, you could really recreate a lot of wanted memories and scenes from the Dark Phoenix saga on your shelf. I believe these are still available on Pulse, along with the AIM and Hydra army builders, so it's worth checking them out. Now, we just need a re-release in that same format as the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, also known as the Nick Fury Giant Man body, and will really be cooking with gas for our army builders. Now, on to the top 10 Marvel Legends of 2020. Coming in at number 10 is the Winter Soldier from the Crimson Dynamo Wave. So all cards on the table, Bucky Barnes is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. I consider the Ed Brubaker Captain America run to one of the top 10 comic book arcs of all time, and part of that's because the Winter Soldier is just so freaking cool. I never had the original version from the old 2-pack, so this is one of the most anticipated figures of the year for me. The base body's obviously nothing amazing, but the head sculpt and metal arm were done well enough for me to place him in the top 10. I really like when Hasbro circles back and gives us new versions of older figures and harder to find figures, so this was perfect for me. Also, in regard to the hunt of the figure, I made a special trip about an hour and a half away to pick him up just days before Pennsylvania went on the pandemic shutdown. So, he was my first purchase in this era, so I will forever have that memory ingrained in me. He's sitting on my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. shelf with Nick Fury, Cap, and Black Widow front and center, and I couldn't be happier. Number 10, Winter Soldier from the Crimson Dynamo Wave. Coming in at number 9 is the Sunfire from the Sugarman Wave. Sitting at number 9 is Sunfire from the Age of Apocalypse Sugarman Wave. This wave was very hit or miss in the opinions of the collecting community this year. Personally, I loved this story in the comics as a kid, so it was right in my wheelhouse. It even encouraged me to go back and fill in some of the holes I was missing in the 90s comic book event over in my long box. If you are unfamiliar with the story, it essentially told an epic tale of what the world would have been like if Charles Xavier had died young and never formed the X-Men. Apocalypse takes over the world and chaos ensues. This gave the Marvel Comics writers and artists the chance to design all new, all different versions of our favorite X-Men. I'm a huge fan of translucent and fire-based figures, so Sunfire was an easy top 10 choice for me. The articulation with the butterfly joints allows for some great flying poses, and the paint job on the translucent plastic really looks amazing. The flame-sculpted paint effects on the head and neck were very well done, and looks excellent when posed next to other fire-based figures, such as the Walgreens Human Torch, or this year's Pyro release from the Rogue 2-pack. If you aren't an AOA fan, I can see you passing on this wave. However, this figure in particular should belong in your 2020 collection of Marvel Legends. Number 9, Sunfire from Age of Apocalypse, Sugarman Build-A-Figure Wave. Coming in at number 8 is Kang from the Joe Fix-It Wave. This was a much-needed and requested character to add to our Marvel Legends shelf. Kang is one of the Marvel Universe's main villains, ranking right up there with Galactus, Doctor Doom, and the rest. The body and head sculpt easily make this a fantastic figure, as it's also an uncanny resemblance to the character from the comic books. This time-traveling villain has recently been confirmed to be entering the MCU in the third installment in the Ant-Man trilogy, and I can assure you he'll be involved in other films down the road as well. He came packed with great accessories including a gun and multiple hands. Finally, this is one of the first figures I own using Hasbro's pinless technology legs, which really helped the aesthetic of the figure. Make sure to add this antagonist to your collection. Number 8, Kang from the Joe Fix-It Wave. Coming in at number 7 is the Cosmic Ghost Rider, Rider's Wave. This is a very late addition to my collection as I located it at a local comic book shop, clearanced all the way down to $20. I don't even know where to start. This figure's amazing. The head sculpt is striking and looks even better surrounded by the plastic dome/tank. The sculpt of the shoulder pads makes this figure really something special, as well as the image on his chest. The bike he rides is so incredibly unique and unlike anything you have on your shelf. I especially love the base it rests on, as it allows for some crazy posing. As it is a space bike, it would not typically be in pictures completely right side up as it glides in the air. I have seen collectors put an LED light inside the front ball, which brings an even more unique presence on the shelf. If you have an affinity for the Thanos Wins storyline that ran through Marvel Comics, this is a must-have. I also like the Legends team is looking to add figures from the story, such as the upcoming 2021 Walgreens exclusive Silver Surfer, and including an Old Man Thanos head sculpt with the soon-to-be-released Thanos Deluxe figure, making this essentially its own subline or wave of theme figures from that storyline. Last I checked, this can still be found at Best Buy stores for its original price, so if you still want to add it to your collection, I would start by hunting there. This is how all Riders Waves should be presented moving forward. Number 7, Cosmic Ghost Rider. Coming at number 6 is the Stan Lee Fan Channel release. How could you pass up on having Stan the Man on your comic book shelf? Hell, I needed 2 just so I could have one on my MCU shelf as well. Is it the sculpt or the articulation that's something special? Not really. Are the accessories anything to write home about? Nah, it was like a chessboard or something. Not really. This is entirely about getting a 6-inch Stan the Man on your shelf. There were rumblings a few years ago that we were going to get this as a Build-A-Figure in the Target exclusive Winter Soldier and Falcon and Killmonger and Everett Ross 2-packs. Box art even leaked online showing us as much. And then when Stan Lee passed away, something just must have occurred behind the scenes that changed the plans. However, thankfully the Legends team found a way to get him into our hands and I couldn't be happier. I picked mine up at a Books A Million location and then later added another one from the Target website. Please do not buy this on the FYE website where they have this for a $50 price tag. Yes, that's true. They wanted $50. It's great, but it's not $50 great. All things considered, this is an essential piece to add to any Marvel Comics fan's shelf, and if you haven't picked it up, please do. Excelsior. Number 6, Stan the Man Lee. Coming in at number 5 is the Storm Target exclusive 2-pack. This is the Storm that I wanted most in my collection. We saw the release of the retro white and black suited Jim Lee Storms the past 2 years, but this is the Storm that I always pictured on my shelf, as it's her original Giant Size X-Men number 1 and X-Men the Arcade game uniforms. Hasbro hit it out of the park with her, including multiple head sculpts, hands, capes, and effects pieces. I really love the Emperor Palpatine style finger blast effects the most. The sculpted hair on the head is just breathtaking, and the pinless technology in the legs is a great advancement for the Legends line. Now, as far as that Thunder Turd figure goes that it was packaged with, I probably could have done without him and got her as a single release. Finally, huge thank you to Target, as this was a rather plentiful release that did not cause collectors in most areas of the country to have to lose their minds to find it. All we now need is a new Banshee release, and we have our Giant Size X-Men shelf complete. Make it happen, Hasbro. Make it happen. Please. Number 5, the Storm Target exclusive 2-pack. Coming in at number 4 is the Rogue Target exclusive retro release. I never had the original Rogue from the Juggernaut wave in my collection, so when this was announced, I couldn't wait. Then I heard the dreaded words, Target exclusive, and instantly began to panic. I missed the online order window, so I was one of the first in stores to hunt this down the weekend it released, around Thanksgiving 2020. Thankfully, I found plenty of them there at my second Target attempt. Even better, it was released during a buy 2 get a 3rd figure free promotion, so I was able to get her and some other figures at a great price. The original pictures of the head sculpt had me a little bit wary, but in hand, it looks amazing. The hair is very well done, and the more vibrant yellow paint on this version is a much better representation of the X-Men the Animated Series character than the original from the Juggernaut wave. The painted X logos on her chest and jacket shoulder look very clean, and included accessory of the ungloved hand is a great pack-in. They even suckered me into buying multiples due to the beautiful card art. I was less than overwhelmed, to say the least, with the green-suited Rogue included in the Pyro 2-pack, so I was pumped when this figure entered my collection with relative ease. Once again, thank you Target for making this an exclusive I could actually find. I would just make sure to check those paint apps before purchasing one, as I had to go through quite a few of them to make sure that there wasn't any green smudges over the yellow or odd paint defects on the face. A great release to help add to the X-Men animated shelf. Number 4, Target exclusive, retro carded Rogue from the X-Men. Coming in at number 3 is the Spider-Man retro wave figure. This is the best Spider-Man Marvel Legend we have ever gotten. The old versions on the Pizza Spidey body was nice, but nothing would compare to this release. Again, Hasbro suckered me into buying 2, as I wanted one on card to put on the wall, as this just takes me back to watching the Saturday morning cartoon on Fox as a kid. This new body has excellent articulation, allowing for so many poses that we wish we could get the old Spider-Man releases into. The paint job is fairly well done, with the exception of the nitpick of the webs not all lining up. As I am a collector and therefore inherently greedy, I could have gone for some accessories including some webbing or an alternate head, but with that said, this is the Spidey figure you need in your collection. It could have been improved if the pinless tech was used on the legs, or you could have elbow pins that were blue instead of red, not matching up. With all that said, it's a great release and one of the best of the year. Number 3, Spider-Man Retro Wave figure. Coming in at number 2 is the Nimrod from the Amazon exclusive 3-pack. Am I thrilled to add a much-wanted Nimrod to my X-Men shelf? Absolutely. Was I excited to shell out this much money for a 3-pack with 2 other figures I didn't really care about? Probably not, but it doesn't take away from how much I dig this figure. First of all, he is huge and a major presence on the shelf. The multiple head and face sculpts are great, as it allows for the Days of Future Past look or the current House of X, Powers of X looks. The blast effects are great, and the color just pops on the shelf. The articulation is what it is, and doesn't need to be anything special for this character. However, I wish I could get the hands to flip further up for a better blast effect / picture and pose. The Legends team has done an impressive job with their Sentinel-themed X-Men releases this year, including the HasLab Sentinel Project. Yes, I ordered one. Did you? Let me know in the comments below. The Bastion and Sentinel Prime figures that were packed in with that, the Omega Sentinel, and the Build-A-Figure Tri-Sentinel that are coming up in the House of X Powers of X waves. Whoever thought we needed an entire Sentinel-themed shelf? Well, now that I know I can, I want one in my toy room. That takes us to number 1 for Marvel Legends of 2020. And last, but certainly not least, coming in at number 1 is the Marvel Legends Red Hulk Target exclusive figure. This figure comes in at number 1 because when I look at my toy shelf, my eyes instantly gravitate directly towards this guy every single time. I hesitated to list him so high since it is the same Hulk body that was number 1 last year on my 2020-19 Marvel Legends list, which, by the way, is posted over on my Instagram, disabout_12. Go check me out and give me an ad. But I go over that pretty quickly because I love this figure so much. I managed to call a Target pre-pandemic and get one put on hold for me the first time this was released back in February. And I'm glad I did because I never saw this figure on the shelf otherwise. The butterfly articulation allows for so many epic poses, but it is the size and the color that just blows me away regarding this figure. The fact that I have 2 other of the same figure on the shelf from last year and still love this figure as much as I do solidified my decision to list it as number 1 for 2020. Yes, just like the previous Hulks, forward butterfly joints would have made the figure perfect, but I get why Hasbro did not want to do that, and I'm at peace with it. It was also nice that Target re-released this figure on their website later in 2020, allowing for collectors to get their hands on it that missed out. Let me know in the comments below what your personal thoughts are on this figure, and if you were able to see it on the shelf in stores or not. Hey everybody. I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody for checking out this video, the first ever Top 10 Marvel Legends video I have posted here on my YouTube channel. It's been a great year for me regarding Marvel Legends, and I hope you've added a lot of great figures to your collection as well. I'd also like to take a moment to thank everybody who has supported my channel and my Instagram page over the last year. I never expected to grow my channel to the point it's at now, and it's been a lot of fun. I've met a lot of great people, and it's been a really great community along the way. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for checking out my videos, and a special shout out to all my people who come and hang out live at 7:05 every week over on my Instagram at disabout_12. So thank you so much. Please have a safe, healthy, and happy 2021. I know it's been a rough year, guys. It's been rough for everybody, but thankfully we've all been able to enjoy toys, Marvel Legends, and each other here in this great community. So please stay safe, be careful out there, and I'll be seeing all of you at the pegs.